All right, guys, time for the live Q&A. Let me get this set up and then we'll go. Hope everyone had a fantastic holiday. And what did everybody do for Thanksgiving? How was Black Friday sales? Let's see. All right, I'm ready to start. We're also live on YouTube today, which is exciting. All right, guys. Want to check in, see how everybody's doing. On Black Friday, I had 6,200 orders. Thank you. That's the most I've ever had in one day. It's literally insane. So I had 5 people shipping for 8 hours on Saturday and Sunday, and we shipped on time. So it's insane. 6,200 orders was like 1.5 semi trucks of orders. So it actually because my stream is mainly about being consistent, trying your best to do the best you can with what you have. And I actually did not stream for 3 days. So that's never happened before. I started this 2.5 years ago. I've never gone 3 days without shipping, but that's how long it took me to get it. It took me 3 days to get all the orders shipped and everything cleared out so that I could get ready for the next time. But I'm not doing any, like, everything goes out in one business day no matter what. So I'm not going to sacrifice starting shows when I'm not done with my other ones. And that's going to be how I focus on coming up this year is I want to be really, really consistent. That's my main thing. So I'm preparing myself to be just a little bit smaller next year and be more consistent. So that's my plan. Be a little more consistent, run a little bit of a smaller stream, same space, and I'm excited. I'm not going to do, I do have an OnlyFans called Reseller After Dark 69, but I don't have any content on there. So I'm not streaming on there. I was gonna give my best reselling advice on OnlyFans, but I'm not gonna do that anymore. I have it just in case I want to go down that career route, but I currently I'm not doing that. See if there's any other questions in here. That's it. So I had 6,000 orders on Black Friday, and I my main feedback I can give everyone that's listening right now, because people are asking me, a lot of people have been asking me what I've been up to, what's my most recent advice I can give people. And my most recent advice to give people is just high variance, high variance, high value, similar format. Aaron's asking in the chat where I get my pallets from. Girl, that is like really difficult to share. So I will tell you that 2 years ago, I got 90% of my pallets from one person. And then I did not like that. So this last year, I've been trying 20, 30, 40 different suppliers, meeting different people. And I will tell you, I was just telling my staff earlier, I found a supplier. So Aaron, I follow all the streamers that I'm trying to follow. One of the people that I follow on Whatnot, I went onto their Instagram and I looked at all of their posts, and I saw somebody in the background of one of their posts, and that person commented, "It was so nice to see you." And I clicked on their picture, and they're the supplier. I'm not kidding, Aaron. I found out one of my bigger suppliers from one of my other people on Whatnot, their Instagram. They met with one of their suppliers, and I just reverse engineered. I connected the dots and figured out where their supply came from, and that happens all the time, right? So sometimes, like, I'm not at that point yet, but sometimes if you're really good at what you can do, you can figure out where people are getting their supply by looking at it. Yesterday, I had a supplier come here and visit me in person, because also, Aaron, one of the things that bigger suppliers will do is they will visit you. Every single one of my suppliers has visited me here, and they all are all around the country, and they know where all the inventory came from. So if you don't have supply, then you don't have a business. So Aaron, what I would recommend is, depending on what state you are in, the best way is to find a local plug. I currently still do not have a local plug. All of my inventory comes from somewhere else. But I would love to. I mean, this is how I'm doing it locally, Aaron. Every single Thursday, I spend the whole day looking for suppliers. The whole day locally. And okay, let me back up. That's not true. I do have local suppliers. It just only recently, because I've been going every single Thursday to meet with every single store. And Kayla's asking, what do I need to watch out for when it comes to obtaining suppliers? Okay, this is so good. So um, the places that I've been sourcing at locally, I've been asking them, what kinds of things do you sell? What's seasonal? What's not selling well? I buy overstock. I buy clearance. I buy your problem. One of the stores that I went to, they had a problem selling these orange jackets and these brown blazers. Makes sense because orange is a horrible color and blazers are not really in style right now because a lot of people are not going into the office. They're working from home. So it makes sense that that was a problem. So I told them, I'll buy all the blazers, all the orange jackets. I'll help you out. When you see something that will help me out, let me know. This is what I sell. This is what I want. And that has paid off. So um, those orange jackets and those brown blazers were like around maybe $4,000 or $5,000 worth of inventory that I'm hoping to break even on. But because of that, I am now getting the inventory that I'm looking for, which is like handbags, normal color jackets, sweaters. So every Thursday, I'm spending the whole day meeting people locally because it's so much easier going there and being able to find out what they have. I'm sorry, it's so much easier having eyes on the ground somewhere locally. They can tell me what they have and I can try to order it because it will get here in one day. I'm in California. I would say maybe like 20% of my inventory comes from California now, but it's all 1 day handling time. So like if I order it today, I will get it Friday. And that is so much easier than on the East Coast because you order it. Um, it takes a day or two to ship, takes 7 days to cross the country, and it makes it really hard. So depending on where you live, if you live in the middle of nowhere, sounds like Aaron lives in the middle of nowhere, you probably have a huge advantage because getting stuff shipped to you, you have a much lower cost of standard of living. Minimum wage where you are is probably lower. Um, Something interesting I saw was because you guys know I'm in California. Um, I don't think you should try and live in California unless you're trying to make $300,000 a year or more. I know I don't know if that's Vince's goal in the chat here, but at 300,000, your whole life is a little different here because like you can easily afford a home, you can easily afford a car. Taxes are like 40% here, so $10,000 a month is really what you're left with after making 300 here. So it's not like actually it's not that low. That would be like okay, maybe you don't need to make 300. Depends on it depends on if how big your mortgage payment is. Um, but something like 90% of the people who make 300 $300 or 300,000 a year or more live in blue states. It's just kind of like what happens in those areas. There's more opportunity. So I love living in California, even though there's a lot of weird things here, like high tax, high crime. You also have the most opportunity here, in my opinion. There is so much opportunity here. Um, Idaho is still not expensive by California standards. So those are the people that states are trying to keep out, but Idaho is really, really cheap compared to here. That was a nice try, though. Go ahead, Chris. That was a nice try trying to get us to stay out of Idaho, but we're coming there anyway.
Hey, Chris, congratulations on the sales.
Thank you.
Well done. You're working hard as ever.
Yep.
That's your style. Um, I have a question on what you would recommend for a smaller seller or good advice on handling returns.
Okay.
Do you do returns now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So
So
the
how do you
process
do it?
of dealing with returns when they come back, or what? What's the question?
I guess in just general, what to expect. Since I'm a newer seller, I don't know like what the average is of a return rate, what things you should look for to make sure that you fix mistakes coming in, right? Maybe because sometimes you get returns where you list things wrong or you didn't measure things or get specifics right or maybe it's a return because they didn't like it, didn't fit, right? And that's just standard operation. You're going to run into that stuff. Just I guess your perspective, because right now I've been doing this for maybe a year and I've had maybe a total of 2 or 3 returns.
I have roughly 10 to 15 returns per day.
Okay.
I look, which doesn't sound like that much. Well, to me, it doesn't sound like that much, but to a regular person, 10 to 12 returns probably sounds insane. So like, I personally look through all of them, and it's almost always the same issue, at least for me. It's either a wrong item or damaged item. So with damaged items, Whatnot has streamlined the process for filing a USPS claim. It's super easy. Person will open up a problem and say, my order was damaged during transit or it's broken. Right there, you can click file USPS claim. It'll send them the receipt and the pictures that the customer has to upload in order to say that. Super fast. So I love that process. And then wrong item, that is our fault for not setting it up more clear. And the best way to fix that, in my opinion, is to separate picking from shipping. So like wrong item just means you picked the wrong item when you were shipping. And in a perfect world, you would actually sort all of your labels with each order before you start. Because what happens is if you shipping one at a time is great. Um, it's just if you ship one order incorrectly, now you got to go back and figure out which one you shipped incorrectly. If you had enough space, and depending on how many you sell, you could print out all your labels first, separate every single one individually, quadruple check before you start shipping, and you would have literally a zero defect rate. Um, Happy Joy Free is saying it's expensive everywhere. I guess it depends because like with e-commerce, I know people who are making millions of dollars a year and they live in a cheap area. It's not expensive to live in Idaho if you make 300,000 a year. It's but here that's like a normal situation, which is also why I think people in California or at least in cities are generally more humble because like you're nothing. I feel like if you are living in Iowa and you make 100 grand a year, some people start acting crazy, like they are the most important person on earth. So like here, like there's you could work at a fast food place and make 100 grand a year. So like there's and you're not special. So I don't know if but I'm from Utah. I didn't even know people could make six figures. So like it's I don't know, it's different. There's a whole bunch of people in chat saying that everywhere is expensive. I just think it's relative. Depends on who you're comparing yourself to.
So when you get those 15 returns in, how do you process them? Do they just go right back into inventory to sell, or is it like what is your system for that?
So the system is they go right back in. So I actually have a one rolling rack of returns. So what happens is I'm moving more towards having a set list when I sell. So for example, I have um just as a kind of an example, let's say 10 jackets, 10 coats, 10 sweaters, 10 pants, 10 skirts. This is like the rotation, right? The returns I actually do as one of my rotations. So it's like hats, skirts, returns is like part of one of my categories. Every single show we sell returns. It just gets mixed in back into the normal format. And that's the same thing I would do with eBay. I would just unpack it, figure out what the return reason was, put it back in the queue. You can go back in there and relist the same item or change the pictures or try to avoid it. I didn't do that when I sold on eBay. I just started over. I treated it like a brand new item. But it depends. You can do either way.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Kay in the chat is saying they had nurses in California that had to work 2 and 3 jobs to live comfortably. I mean, like, uh, it's not easy to live anywhere, but I'm starting to think that the harder the life you pick, the easier your life will be. Like by nature, I was complaining, which I'm gonna try not to do, but recently I've been complaining a lot about how difficult my job is because every single day is different. But my wife was saying, look, you've chosen the hardest sourcing route. It is the hardest way to source. Every single time I buy something, it's over $100,000. It's the most risky, most difficult, requires the most research. There's the most people involved, but not that many people can do it. So it's by nature less competitive, right? If you are going to Goodwill and buying one item, your risk is very low, almost none, right? You're just risking that one item. If you really want your risk to be zero, you could literally go to Goodwill and list or like stream it and don't even buy it until it sells. You can reduce your risk to zero. But then everybody else can do that, right? So depending on how good you are at what you do, like if you are sourcing from multiple states and you're the big buyer, obviously not that many people can do that. You're kind of in a category of one. It's much easier. Less competition is easier. This competition is harder though. Harder, but then it ends up being like super duper worth it. And I can't win anything since there's a lot of Disney sellers who sell from the store 100%. And I think that's a great business model for people just getting started. Don't risk any money. If I could redo this, I would be a little bit more conservative in my purchasing. Now I'm just like I'm looking for sure things. I don't really want to gamble. There's too many people that work here. There's too much on the line. It's too much overhead. I don't want to gamble with people's lives here by buying stuff that may or may not work. Has to be something. If I were redoing it, I'd be focused on um I would just spend more time sourcing. I'd spend more time sourcing. Um that's really the only difference. Before I spent too much time listing and not enough time sourcing. I spend 90% of my time sourcing, 10% of my time listing. When I first started, I spent 10% of my time sourcing, 90% of my time listing. If I was listing square one, I would buy one item, sell one item, buy one item, sell one item. After you get some traction, you can buy some items, take a little bit longer to sell, and then just keep repeating that process. Try to break even within 30 days of what when you buy something and live as cheaply as possible. I'm a big fan of like reducing your cost to minimal and then reinvesting the rest. Um, One thing that I did not do enough of, which I'm focused on a lot more right now. Oh shit. Hold on, let me tell this guy something. Hold on. You guys want to see something cool? Yes. Oh, look at my palette guy. Where's Ivan? Up. Where's Ivan? Ivan? Ivan. No, Ivan? Okay. So yeah, we're picking up pallets. Hold on one second. Let me get Bobby. Hey Bobby, can you help this guy? He's here to pick up pallets. Yeah. Um, um, right here on the floor. Okay. Um, can you help this guy pick the pallets that are not the ones that are blocking the fence, the ones that are the second row? Yeah. Cool. Thank you. You good? Thank you. Sorry, guys. I thought that was going to be cooler than it was. There's somebody here to pick up 300 pallets. If I could start over, I would spend 90% of my time sourcing. I wouldn't do any bulk buying. I could redo it. Cindy says, do I have a formula to use when pricing my strategy? Oh my God, that is the best question ever. You ready? I price it as low as I can afford to price it, right? And then, so as an example, I buy something for $1. The lowest I would price that is 2. Okay. Now it depends on, I would guess, first I guess based on the market. So let's say I buy something for $1 and I think it's worth 10, right? I would price it at 9 and see if people react to it. And if they don't react to it, I lower the price. If they don't react to it, I lower the price. I don't react to it, lower the price. So it's always based on what the maximum it sells for, and I start a little bit lower than that and continue down. The nice thing about running a really, really small business is you don't have any overhead, so that number is lower. The number is lower. What's up, Jacob? Corporate God's asking, as a smaller seller, how do we get premium with minimal cash? You just use more of your effort to get a good deal. If you are just starting out, you have all the time and no money. You got to find the best items you possibly can. Like as an example, Black Friday sales for Best Buy were really good this year. If you went and bought some stuff last Thursday, there's easily 100 items on BestBuy.com that are $50 more now. That's just a week ago. You could have turned 300 into 500 last week. Thank you, Happy. So like I wouldn't have gone thrifting and bought some stuff that was a good deal and you have no idea if it's going to sell. Buy something that is guaranteed to sell. iPad, as an example. iPads are selling for like $300 right now. And they were $199 on Black Friday. How many people here would buy something for 200 if it sold for 300 in 24 hours? I mean, like literally Saturday, they were worth $100. Like you could net like, $50, $60 more in one day, right? So like that's a lot of work though. It's like, who wants to go to Best Buy and wait in line and do that? So Aaron, this is so important. I have seen people on their very first stream do $10,000, $20,000, just based on product. So Whatnot and eBay, Poshmark are all the same. Number one is product based. Product is number one. You don't need a platform of people to sell good stuff. You need a platform of people to get lucky and sell some bad stuff. So I think people are like I want to sell this box cutter. How do I get more views? Well, it's hard because no matter how many views you have, this product is on Amazon right now for like $5 free shipping for five of them. So like you can't sell this for more than five for $5, no matter how many views you get. But if you have a gold bar, so if you guys, one of the best categories to watch this is in is coins. Coins and currency is the coolest category. $100 bills, you go to the bank and say, you guys have any old $100 bills? Put them on eBay. I think the average sold for a $100 bill on eBay is like $128. Was the average $100 bill, the old ones. So like if your item doesn't sell, you just deposit it back in your bank account. Shot Michelle, I'm so glad that you're here on Whatnot. Appreciate you. I just want people to get after it. But I just think that unfortunately, the only way to make this work is to choose the hard way that nobody else wants to do. Because the fact that nobody else wants to do it means you'll be one of the only people doing it. And why would you like the average person is super out of shape? I think thank you, Joe, for the tip. I think the average person is like 25 pounds overweight. The average person is only one paycheck ahead of going broke. The average person doesn't make enough money. The average person is kind of depressed. So maybe we don't do that. Try to be like choose the being not average. So like it's a little harder, but then you're happy. You're a little bit more in shape. Sleep better. You treat people right. It's still a little bit different. Because essentially, when you're not doing your best, you're doing your family a disservice. I haven't. I'm still banned on eBay. I wonder what it would be like to be back on eBay right now. Um, a bunch of people have offered to be my eBay account, which is very interesting. Um, so I don't know if I want to do that or not. And also my wife is allowed to sell on eBay. She has an eBay account. I was told specifically from eBay she can operate one if she wants. Not me though. Um, yeah, it is what it is. I wonder what it would be like to get back on there for not providing proper invoices. But now that like yesterday, the supplier came in and was like, we have all the clean invoices that eBay wants. You could upload all those transactions. It would be fine. It would be fine. But do I want to wait 6 to 9 months to sell an item? I wonder if anyone's here yet. Sorry. Do I want to wait 6 to 9 months to sell something, or do I want to wait 6 weeks to sell something? Right. Corporate. So my costs have always been really low. When I lived by myself, my costs were like $2,700 a month, even in California. Thank you. Appreciate it. God's chicken has arrived, guys. God's chicken has arrived. Um, it took me. I made enough to live on the first month. But I have a sales background. Um, I kept the same car the first 9 years. The only thing that I could have done to be cheaper would be to not eat out. If I didn't eat out, I would have saved a lot of extra money. That was the only thing though. I did all the other things that save money. So Keeper's Vault is saying what not lets sellers shill bid on their account. That's a good point. I think that Whatnot does have software. What they're doing, okay, I'm not defending Whatnot here. They should do a better job of removing shill bidding, but they do build a case before they ban people. So like, um, as with most things, it's better if you have more proof. So the people who are getting banned on Whatnot have had multiple warnings, multiple, they've been talked to. So like they don't just instant ban people. They reach out first. So I understand both sides of the coin, but I do think they should probably move a little bit faster on the people who are abusing the policies. Shop Michelle quit her full-time job and she's resigning now because of me. I appreciate that. What would be the advice to sellers who are struggling having people in their shows to buy their stuff? Better products. That's it. Better products. Your products are not strong enough. Your prices are not good enough. There's no reason to be in your show. I don't know. If I had eaten at home, I would have made more money. 100%. Because people who eat at home, they just make way more money. That's not a real correlation. Eating out does not because eating out is also unhealthy. So people who cook at home, I would be surprised if they don't make more money than people who eat out. People don't treat selling here like a real job. I mean, to be honest, most people don't know how. It's not that easy. Um, what's my get out of bed margin target? What's my margin target? That's a really good question. Um, depends. I'd say I'd probably be okay with 10%, but it depends on what it is. I've been watching, sadly, my margin shrink as the company gets bigger, but I think that's part of it in a sense that there's more fluff when your company is bigger. When it's smaller, it is very very much lean. And as you get bigger, there's more bloat. Bloat's the word I'm looking for. There's more bloat when your company gets bigger. So I'd be happy with 10%, 20% target. Thank you, Shop, for the tip. Appreciate you. $15 an hour at McDonald's has made the hash browns $4 now. McDonald's is $19 an hour where I live. Treat customers like we have to buy. Yeah, customers don't have to buy if it's not a good product and a good price. I think for they did a survey. The person is not very important on Whatnot. It's really the product and the price that drive it. If you have a good personality, it doesn't hurt. It just doesn't drive it. Like you could be the driest person in the world selling Nike for half off and you'll still kill it. Whatnot needs to do better on promoting shows. I don't anonymous, that's a good question. Or a good point. I don't know if I personally feel like promoting shows works. It's just expensive. So I don't know if it's worth it, but it does work. It gets more people into your audience. It's your dream product to buy. Dream product is returns. My dream product is returns. I have 20 employees. Happy Meals, a Happy Meal or extra value meal is probably like $16 here. This sandwich is $8 here. So I'm assuming I don't know what it is, but where you live, but Chick-fil-A sandwich here is $8. Minimum wage is $7.50 in Louisiana. Connecting with the audience and seeing a familiar face. Yeah, it helps. It's just not required. Honestly, if you were, I mean, the best example of it is like looking at card shows where You never even see the people's face. No one knows what Joe Hollywood looks like, or I don't know what he looks like. He does 50 to 100,000 a show. I don't know what he looks like. So I mean, does it really matter if you have the coolest things ever to sell? I can't. I don't agree with that. I don't think they spend a lot of money on getting celebrities. I don't. I don't agree with that. I don't think they spend that much, to be honest. Quiznos, two sandwiches, two chips, and three soups of $68. That makes sense. Would I consider doing seller support, getting to know everyone in seller stream? Yeah, we can. I just think that you don't need seller support. You don't need to go to events. All you need to do is source. You don't, all of the best sellers I know are anonymous. So it doesn't make sense to spend. Okay, think about it. The person who spends 100% of their time sourcing versus the person that spends 10% of their time sourcing. Who's going to have better product? Right? Who's going to be more successful? You don't need friends. You don't need an Instagram. You don't need social media. All you need is the best product. You turn your stream on, you have discount Hoka. It's going to have 300 people your very first show. Can you imagine you just rolled up to this auction all in Hokas and you wore a chicken costume? Your show would literally be number one trending on Whatnot, your first try. Gary V obviously is talking about Whatnot because he's invested. Um, oh yes, yeah, he has an amazing voice, but he's also has the best product, in my opinion. Those of you who know Joe Hollywood, he's not selling garbage. Best way to source is never on Whatnot. Okay, if people are going to your stream for you, then you are the product. That's completely fine. It's just different. Thanks, Lily. Um, this is actually live on YouTube, so if you guys have any questions, you can watch it on YouTube. Go ahead, Darian.
Um, so I've been talking to Goodwill, about bulk and stuff.
Yep.
And I was talking to one of their distribution managers, and um, they're basically trying to set me up like a Goodwill account, but it's kind of gone silent because they were like, oh, they had to move it up to the accountant and stuff. But I was just wondering if people don't really do deals around the holidays, around. I'm not too sure about that, but
It depends on if they have overstock or not.
okay.
So it's not really seasonal. If they're super busy during the holidays, they may not have overstock because they're selling everything.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't think it's seasonal because I still have. I think the most deals I've ever gotten is during Q1.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering because I don't know, they just kind of gone silent a little bit. I didn't know if I had to captivate their interest at all or just kind of wait it out, because that's like extra things they have to do on their plate, deal with a small business.
That's a really good point. Most people, when they don't respond, they're not ignoring you; they're just busy.
Mm,
So
yeah, because
just got to stay in front of their mind. Always follow up, show up in person.
okay, okay.
Um,
Unfortunately, I can't really show up in person because they're in Wisconsin and I'm in Indiana, so it's like the
it makes it harder, but
yeah.
you can call, you can text, you can email.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah,
best.
I've been trying to email like 3 to 4 times a week, and they reach out like last time they reached out was like a week ago. They haven't reached out this week, but I just figured, they're probably busy with family and all that. So,
Makes sense. Yeah,
but it would be
it's the busiest time of the year for shopping, so it's the hardest to get a hold of somebody in e-commerce right now.
okay. That makes sense. Yeah, and I've just been thinking about because it's going to be 40,000 pounds,
Mhm.
and then if I'm remembering, that's more than a semi, right?
More than what?
That's more than like one semi. But they did have them stacked to the roof.
I think one semi is 40,000 pounds if it's clothing.
Okay. Okay, nice.
Yeah. Because yeah, if it depends on how tall the pallets are and what it is.
Mm.
The heaviest thing is t-shirts.
Mm.
T-shirts are so dense. Like when you stack a t-shirt and you squish it down, it's like the size of a cookie. When you squish it down, it's really, 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 really compact. You can fit like 5,000 t-shirts on a pallet.
Okay.
So I mean, we're talking. You could get to 50,000 pounds on a truck of clothing if it's all t-shirts. It's the densest clothing. It just
Mm.
yeah, it doesn't take up a lot of space. Somebody's asking on chat, what do I think of dollar starts? Dollar starts is what people don't understand with dollar starts is that it reduces the processing time. So if you have a lot of stock and you don't want to sell it more than one time, dollar starts is the way to go. If you're trying to maximize profit, dollar starts would not be the right way to go. So it depends on your goal. Trying to move through all your inventory, or you're trying to maximize each transaction. So it depends on who you are. You don't need a following to sell on whatnot. It helps, but it's not required. So Broke Babe Caviar is saying a lot of the hot ticket items are also popular. Free People Skims, Lululemon. Okay, so this is a good one. Broke Babe is asking about Lululemon. I will tell you that most Lululemon does not sell for a profit on whatnot. It's too competitive. Too many people have it. So I'll tell you what doesn't sell well on whatnot or eBay. Lululemon leggings. It's too flooded. Everybody has them. There's people who are at the who work at the store and they get them for 80% off or 90% off, or they get a free one for something. They're listing it on eBay or Poshmark for $30. What are you gonna buy it for that makes it worth it to sell a brand new pair for 30? It's way too competitive. You got to find stuff that's more rare and obscure. I have found several Lululemon categories that are profitable, but most of them are not. So it's not just the brand. The hot ticket item could be Tommy Hilfiger, right? It's just a rare subset of it that's actually valuable. Most Tommy Hilfiger would be not a good idea to sell. So hot ticket items are ones that people on whatnot are things that people don't know about, and they're very odd. I can show you. I can show you a hot ticket item. You ready? This item. This is a Lululemon clear backpack, right? It's super cool. I think it's awesome. It's for concerts, so when you go there, you don't need to open your bag. They can just see in it. This is not a normal Lululemon item, and it's sold for almost full price. I sold 50 of them for almost full price on whatnot. So like, you got to find stuff that is more rare, and that is from a mole inside the store telling me, we have these backpacks that would probably do really well for you. How many do you want? Right? So that's just like, they're also not going to give you a discount on leggings because leggings sell really well at the store. Let's see. Depends on your volume. I don't want to do wholesale. It's too hard. Because like, actually, maybe not. Maybe wholesale is fine if you have a good customer. I don't want to do small box wholesale. How many sources should a small part-time seller have? Doesn't matter what size. You want as many suppliers as possible. Cindy, I've seen truckloads of clothing from Goodwill go for between 8,000 and 20,000. Depends on if it's raw on look through. If it's already been looked through. Sometimes it's as low as 2,000 for a truckload. Depends on what it is. Why is Whatnot the worst place to source? Most people don't file tax exempt on Whatnot, and you don't get a good advantage on shipping. I pay on average 5 cents for shipping. On Whatnot, people are paying like $5 for shipping. So like you're already $5 behind people who are buying not on Whatnot. I think dollar starts make sense for a lot of categories. And I think that I don't know, people who say this doesn't work. I've never like, how old are you to have lived on Earth and to say something doesn't work? There's people who make every single kind of thing work. There's people who sell pens and make millions of dollars a year. Can't say there's no money in pens when somebody has a private jet that they paid for in cash at each of their 5 houses and they sell pens. There's no, every single version of something works. People who say things that don't work, I just don't know where you've lived before, because like every single thing works. It just depends on if you're focused at it or not. Can you haggle at the outlets? It's a really good question. Not at first. Not at first. Cindy, yep. Find a good brand and a subset within the brand. That's where all the money's at. Texan dude, what's my opinion about the Premier Shop? I really like it. It's very hard. I'm trying my best to get all 5 of my shops Premier Shop. It's very hard. I like it. I like things that are hard. Broke, you never want to sell what everyone else is selling. You want to sell what everybody wants, but they can't have. But Goodwill sells in bulk for sure. Cindy is saying, does Goodwill even have raw anymore? Of course they do. There's so many people, so many donations. Candy, I spend my entire day sourcing. Josh is saying tax exempt. For those of you right now that are reselling, you can apply for tax exempt on eBay. I don't know if you can do it on Poshmark, but you can on eBay, you can on Best Buy, you can at Costco, you can on Whatnot. I'm tax exempt when I buy on Whatnot. There's no tax. You don't need to be an LLC. That's incorrect, Cindy. You can be a tax exempt resale license, which is just your social security number. Most people do not need to be an LLC or an S corp. Makes no sense. Waste of money. Minus Andrea saying sourcing on Whatnot is not good for your bottom line because of shipping and tax, in my opinion. You don't need a LLC. You need a tax exempt license. What's up, W? W, well, I'm having a chicken sandwich for lunch today. I was just telling the people that I think sourcing is what people should spend 90% of their time on Whatnot, because it's the hardest part. If you have good product, your store, if you have the best product, your store will be healthy. Vince is asking, can you buy bulk returns? Let me see. Without an LLC? Yes. You can buy bulk returns and buy tax-free with a resale license, and a resale license is free, and you don't need a business. You can just use your social security. You can use social security number, tell your state. The only thing though, guys, do not forget this. You have to file a form saying you owe 0 sales tax, or you're gonna get a really scary bill from the IRS, because they're gonna think that you owe them tax. But I'll tell you the secret to all online selling. It's just hard to do. High value, high variance, same format. So if Ben were to sell John Barbados boots, Louis Vuitton heels, Hoka sneakers, that is the most stable, high profit, lowest work resale business for used shoes. It's just the hardest to get the supply. The best business is high variance, high value. Everything is very expensive. Everything is completely different, but same category, same format. That's how you make the most money. Didn't do anything different. Listed it the same way, researched it the same way, presented it to your customer the same way, but every single one is different, but they're all high value, all completely different. You don't need a business license to buy wholesale. You need a tax exempt ID, which you can get from your state for free. Google tax exempt your state, fill out the form online, it's free. It takes like 2 hours to figure it out. And most people never do that, and they pay sales tax their entire resale career. High variance, high value, same format. That's the key. It's very, very, very hard, but it's the only way to grow a resale business. The opposite would be low value, all the same. E. Casey says that personality matters. It does. It's just not the most important thing. I think the most important thing is good product. Because here's the thing. I have a guy friend that is extremely good looking. Okay. And he doesn't have to ask women anything. He gets referrals, inbound for like crazy, right? And as soon as he starts talking, the women will leave. Or like, what is up with this guy? So if he just didn't talk, he would have a better success rate. That some sellers are like that. They're super magnetic and they're amazing, but when they talk, people leave. That exists too. It's just that you gotta know what you have and work with what you got. Some people are just naturally very magnetic and they shouldn't talk. What's wrong with how he talks? He just thinks he's God's gift to to the world. If you just, hey, what's up, man? He's just like, I don't know how I'm so amazing. That's how he talks, and that's why it's a turnoff. Nobody likes it.
So you were saying, Chris, about tax exempt as a reseller. So if you
Yep.
get that license, are you saying that like you even if you're
Something.
buying private party or go to Goodwill, you wouldn't pay tax, or how does that work
If they accept your tax license.
if they accept it? So you get like a card that you show places to go, or like how does that?
So you get a resale license. In California, it's a certificate,
Okay.
and it has a number on it. And they type a number out. So this is the full circle because I guess people want to know about this. Um, when you sell something online, you're required to collect and remit sales tax. Okay, so like you sell an item. The thing is, on eBay and on whatnot, Poshmark, they collect the sales tax for you and remit it. Everyone got it? They do it for you. Now you can file your tax exempt form on eBay or whatnot, and instead of remitting sales tax, they have a number that they can tell the government they don't have to pay sales tax because their intent is to resell this item. Then you, when you resell it, are now responsible for collecting and remitting sales tax. But what we can do is we can buy tax free because we have the intent to to sell, and then we have to file a form though at the end of the year telling people, or not telling people, telling the government that we sell online and we're not required to remit tax because the platform we sell on already does it. Close Plus stuff is asking if I've tried Facebook ads to promote whatnot shows. I have. And I it's actually very, very, very successful. I just don't have time to work on it. I don't have time to work on it. But The ads that I have run that drive people to my shows have worked. It's just that I currently the problem with my show is not enough people. I don't have that problem. It's not enough good stuff. Hey Jenny, you should send me an email. Put this in the chat. I have no idea why items are missing, if there are any missing. But you can email me at chris@dailyrefinement.com. Also, the best way to message me is to message me on the order. I don't know what happened. Something happened with our shipping department. How do you get 5-cent shipping on Whatnot? So there is discount shipping on Whatnot, but it's the plain white envelope for the sports card category. I was gonna ask my rep if it's okay to do plain white envelope for a gift card. It's called a tax certificate, or let me see what it's called. In California, it's called California resale certificate. I don't know what it's called in your state. In California, it's called a resale certificate. And I have it saved on my phone. Some stores will accept it. My warehouse is 10,000 square feet, and I love it. It's the best. A lot of sellers do gift cards and white envelopes. I love it. I will do it. Ooh, I like that all out toys. I might try that. In Texas, it's called a tax ID number. Okay. The certificate is so you don't have to pay sales tax. I sold at home first, then storage unit, then small warehouse, now bigger warehouse. And I think I'm done. I don't want more risk than this. Payroll this year is already $1 million. I really don't want more responsibility than that. No, different form. Guys, also, I am not a tax expert. I can give you some rough ideas, but treat them as entertainment value only. I wouldn't hire a CEO. I'm way too small. Next step. I might hire a lady to help me with a little bit of admin, but that's it. I don't need anything different. I recommend growing a following on Whatnot by doing the same show every week at the same time. I have 20 employees. But yeah, like give you guys a quick look. Let's see. I'm standing here. Hopefully I don't die. Okay. This is stuff that's going out shipping wise later today. It's already loaded. This is the second time they've been here today, so we have 2,600 orders today. They're packing orders here. They're preparing stuff over there. This is 10,000 square feet. Yeah, I still have a few Batmobiles there, right there. But I got to get the rest of my stuff ready for shipping today. We have a lot to do. And by the end of the month, the only thing I should have left is the Batmobile toys. I think I can sell everything before the end of the year. I want to put a basketball court in really bad. And I turned 40 this month. I would love to be able to dunk a basketball on my 40th birthday. That would be sick. But I gotta go, guys. I got a million things to do today. Email me if you have any questions, chris@dailyrefinement.com. Patreon people, I'm sending out your payment on pay. I'll do that this afternoon. We just finished shipping on Monday, and I've been like just mentally catching up since then. But gotta get our shows going today. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna raid myself. And I'll see you guys later on Whatnot and on YouTube, guys. I'll talk to you a little bit later. Give you the update on what's happening with Circle and the Facebook.